Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast. If his brother's words are any indication, Joe Biden is not well, and that is the sole reason why he has left the race for the presidential candidacy for 2024. What up? It's your boy Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Monday morning. I'm fresh off of my birthday weekend, but I did manage to get some rest yesterday, so I'm feeling good today. I was a little nervous about coming back after the weekend, but I did manage to get some rest. So I'm going to put on a good show for you guys today. Of course, because we got to talk about Joe Biden dropping out of the race. So I need to be prepared. All right, let's get on with the show. Like I said, most of the show is going to be about Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, because that is literally what has been going on since yesterday. I think 3 o'clock when he announced. So we got 4 lead stories for you. We're going to obviously talk about Joe Biden dropping out the race. Then we're going to talk about Biden supporting Kamala Harris for president. Then we're going to talk about Trump's response to Joe Biden dropping out the race. And then our 4th lead story, which is one of my favorites because this really gives us some insight, which a lot of people are not talking about. Joe Biden's brother talks about his health and it maybe being one of the reasons why he dropped out. All right. Then after lead stories, we're going to jump into quick news. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris accepting Joe Biden's endorsement. We're going to talk about Barack Obama and Bill Clinton releasing statements. Then 2 other stories that are not Biden and Trump Harris related. Brittney Griner and her wife welcomes a new baby boy, and Bhad Bhabie was seen outside with her abusive baby daddy. We're going to give you an update on that story. Then we got question of the day. And of course, as always, we're going to close out with a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, radio, or your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Joe Biden officially drops out of the 2024 presidential race. Joe Biden has officially dropped out. Rumors of Biden exiting the race started swirling after it was revealed that the president tested positive for COVID last week. All right, so before I read to you parts of his letter, I would just like to take the time out to say on last Thursday's show, before I left to celebrate my birthday and have Friday off, thanks again for the people at CFQR600.com, I did say that President Biden had COVID, and this is just going to be an excuse for him to drop out the race, or not necessarily an excuse, but like a leeway to, he's doing fine. Oh, he has COVID. Oh, shoot, he has to drop out. And you're going to hear that those are the reasons. I never believed that COVID thing from the beginning, from the jump. I think they knew what they were doing, and this was just a way to set up the exit. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, this is just a way for them to set up this exit. It actually happened even quicker than I thought. I thought it was going to be like a week or so in, but they knew that they were drowning so quickly. The Democrats knew that they were drowning so quickly. They needed to do something quick. They took Biden off the presidential trail. Not the presidential trail. What is it called? The oh my gosh. Maybe I didn't get enough rest that I thought I had. The presidential, whenever they're going out. Y'all know what I mean, man. So anyways, they took him off the promo trail, or whatever the trail is called, and they put him in his house. They locked him down. And 2 or 3 days later, he dropped out the race, right? So, like I said, I wanted to take 2 cents out to my own horn to let y'all know I predicted all of this. All right. All right. So this is Joe Biden's letter. He said, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to record number of Americans. We provided critical needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in over 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today." He goes on to say, "Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and re-strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been a great honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it's been my intention to seek re-election, it's believed that it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. Here's where it gets very important. He says, "For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all of those who have worked so hard to see me get reelected. I would like to thank Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all of this work, and let me express my heartfelt expression to the American people for the faith that they have placed in me." Sorry, I thought he was just about to endorse here there. That might be like next story. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. He closes out by saying, "I believe today what I've always have. There is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember that we are the United States of America." Okay, so that was Joe Biden Jr. Oh, Joseph R. Biden Jr. I didn't even know he was a junior. All right, so that was Joe Biden's official letter of resignation, basically dropping out of the race. Okay, so I think now we're going to jump into our next lead story where it's Joe Biden supports Kamala Harris. Okay, I got a little ahead of myself. Let's jump over to lead story number 2. Okay, so 5 minutes or like 10 minutes after dropping that letter, Joe Biden comes out and says, "My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all of my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My first decision as the party's nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as your vice president, and it's been the best decision I've ever made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." Okay, so anyways, the rating is after announcing that President Biden is withdrawing from the race of president, he has announced that he's endorsing VP Kamala Harris to take his place in the race. Okay, so let's pause here with all the stories and talk about this quick. So what a lot of people are getting mixed up with is that just because Joe Biden endorses Kamala Harris to be president doesn't mean she automatically gets the nominee of the Democratic Party to be president. There's a process to be had. Okay, so Kamala is on the phone, was on the phone yesterday, literally calling, I heard, close to 200 and 250 delegates in the Democratic Party. And also sponsors, people who are giving money, et cetera, et cetera. So what she is doing now, and don't take every single word that I'm saying because I don't know the exact details of what it will take. But if I'm not mistaken, there will be a vote before the Democratic Party, before the Democratic Convention, and it can't just be given to her, right? Like I said, there's a technical part in it, and you could get that from CNN and the political pundits, right? This is an entertainment podcast. But the most important thing is that she just doesn't get to be the nominee. She has to be voted in by the delegates of the Democratic Party. And there are people that are hoping that nobody else comes up that wants to be the nominee, right? That's what would make it the easiest, because if nobody else stands up as the nominee, then the delegates have no choice but to vote for her. So they could decide, you know what, we're not voting, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But as long as whoever is voting votes for her, then they can go. Now, from what I also heard yesterday is that Senator Joe Manchin, and there's, I think, 2 or 3 other people that might throw their name in the hat. So now you don't just have Kamala to vote for, you have other people that you can vote for as well, right? So the Democratic Convention, I think, is coming up in the second week in August. And some people are hoping for an open convention where people could just be at the convention saying, hey, vote for me, I want to be president. So all of that to say, a lot of people think that she is automatically going to be the nominee, and that is just not the case. It could be an easy road for her, or it could be very, very complicated. So I just wanted to get some of my younger viewers who are not necessarily following this detailed thing as, some of the, the older generations are. But young people should definitely get involved and find out what is going on, so that, we don't just, listen to things that we hear on social media. So I just really wanted to make that clear. All right. So I think that's it that I want to say with that. Let's move on to our third lead story. All right. In our third lead story, Donald Trump reacts to President Joe Biden's withdrawal from the presidential race. Crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve, and never was. He only obtained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. This guy is hilarious, man. All those around him, including his doctor and the media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now look what he's done to our country, with millions of people coming across our border, totally unchecked and unvetted, many from prisons, mental health institutions, and record number of terrorists. We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage that he's done very quickly. Make America great again. Yo, this guy is not short of words at all. Huh? All right, so that's, of course, Donald Trump. I always get surprised sometimes every once a year with Donald Trump, and you just think maybe he just might say something good, but this guy's, he let in the prisoners, he let in the terrorists, he's a horrible person, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The one thing that I will agree with Joe Biden is that they knew that Biden wasn't fit to run for president for the next 4 years. Come on, man. That debate was not a surprise. It was a surprise to us, but I'm sure it was not a surprise to the circle of Democratic, people that are around Biden. That could not have just been a mishap. And then everything that we heard after. So, yeah, I do agree that they did know about it. And I think my opinion is that they knew about it and they were planning for him to drop out. They were just waiting for the right time and waiting for everything to happen. I think they actually didn't want to do it too early. But yeah, so I will agree with him that it wasn't a surprise just on debate night. So I'll give Donald Trump credit for that. All right, in our fourth and final lead story, President Biden's brother, Frank, says health was one of the factors in the decision to drop out of the presidential race. And Frank said, selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. Those are big, big words. I have a little clip. Take a listen.
Now hearing for the first time from a member of President Biden's family about this decision. Frank Biden, here's what he told us. He said, selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. We asked him whether he feels that his brother's overall health and vitality played a major role in this decision, and he says, absolutely.
Absolutely was the word that he used, and they're quoting him. So I don't know if this is a little mishap or what. It's got to be a mishap, because if we go back to the letter that Joe Biden put out, well, that the House put out, let me get back to it. He said, and I quote, he said, hold on, together, okay, with the pandemic, whatever, blah, blah. It has been my greatest honor of my life to serve you as president. And while it's been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus on the fundamental duties as president for the remainder of my term. Doesn't say nothing about his health, doesn't say anything about him, doesn't say anything about COVID, doesn't say nothing. He said, I believe it's the best interest of my party. So, did Frank make a little mistake? Because for the past 3 weeks, he's been saying, my gosh, I'm totally healthy. I'm fine. I can make it. His press secretary has been saying he's fine. Cognitive, whatever is fine. Now his brother is saying, man, I'm happy I have Joe to be with me selfishly so that so I could spend time with him with whatever time that we have left. and then asked about his health being a reason for him leaving. And he said, absolutely. So who knows, man? Joe Biden said that he was going to address the nation later on this week. Who knows if he's going to actually come out and admit and say, listen, I am not healthy. I have this, I have that. It's not COVID. It's not nothing. It's not like I have whatever it is, disease, whether it be early signs of dementia, whether it be, whatever, it be Alzheimer's, my cognitive, whatever it is, just come out and tell us. We've been asking you all this time. But anyways, if his brother's words are any indication, Joe Biden is not well. And that is the sole reason why he has left the race for the presidential candidacy for 2024. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Vice President Kamala Harris speaks after President Biden endorses her and says, my intention is to earn and win this nomination. See, that's what I was explaining to you guys earlier. She still needs to earn it and she still needs to win it. So Kamala Harris said this: on behalf of the American people, I would like to thank Joe Biden for his extraordinary leadership as President of the United States and for his decades of service to this country. His remarkable legacy of accomplishments is unmatched in modern American history, surpassing the legacy of many presidents who have served 2 terms in office. I think they're putting that in just to make Joe feel better, but I get it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, he did more than, because, Joe really just wanted to serve 2 terms. Any president, you want to serve 2 terms, right? That's making the job complete. So they're trying to make him feel better. They'd be like, Joe, you did more than what most people do in 2 terms. So it's okay if you leave in 1, right? So, but I get it. She goes on to say, it is my profound honor to serve as vice president, and I'm deeply grateful to the president, Dr. Biden, and the entire Biden family. I first came to know Joe Biden through Beau Biden, etc. Hold on, I want to skip this part. So she goes on to say how she first met Joe Biden, etc. Then she said, with this selfish and patriotic act, President Biden is doing what he has done throughout his entire life, putting the American people and the country above everything else. Here's what she said. She goes, I'm honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. Over the past year, I have traveled across the country talking to Americans about the clear choice in this monumentous election. And this is what I will continue to do in the days and weeks ahead. I will do everything in my power to unite the Democratic Party and to unite our nation to defeat Donald Trump and his extreme Project 2025 agenda. We have 140 days until Election Day. Together we will fight, and together we will win. So Kamala is hyped up. She's ready to go. Like I told you guys before, she's just last night, she was on the phone and she had a list to call over 200 people to get their endorsement. So we will see. I'm excited about this. The reason why, and again, I really don't want to turn this podcast into a political podcast. Vote for Trump, vote for whoever it is in the Democratic Party that's going to run, be my guest. I make fun of whoever it is I can make fun of, or I whenever they do something good, I'll say each other does good, and I'll leave my personal opinions and my vote to myself. Well, I'm Canadian, I don't have a vote, but you know what I mean. My endorsement, let's just say. But I will say, though, I'm excited to see what Kamala Harris brings to the table. I had a conversation about her last week with my cousin, and I was surprised that he didn't know that she was a prosecutor. If Donald Trump debates Kamala Harris, she will wipe the floor with him. And he's already come out and said that the second debate should not be on ABC and it should be on Fox News. But he already agreed to ABC. But now that it's Kamala, he wants to have it on Fox. Just already to show you that he's afraid. But Kamala Harris does not play around. She does not pull any punches. She was a prosecutor. She is relentless. I have seen her in the Senate. I have seen her talk people down. It is the job of a vice president to be in the background, play the position. And I was surprised that she did such a good job at that for the past 3.5 years. I'll be totally honest. I thought we were going to see a little bit of her attitude come out. But, for those of you who know, how the president and VP run, you're really not supposed to ever overshadow the president. So for the next 107 days, I'm not saying she's going to win, but for the next 107 days, we're going to see Kamala Harris front and center. And I think they're going to make it explosive because you normally would have a year to kind of just ease into it. We got 107 days. You are going to see I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how they're going to pull this off, what they're going to show us. And I'm super excited to see her debate Donald Trump. I promise you unequivocally, she will wipe the floor with him and it will be over. I will not be surprised if he decides not to debate her, which I don't know how he can get out of it because he's already said that he would debate Biden 2 times, once on CNN and then once on ABC. So if he backs out of this, he's afraid. But backing out of something, you can use that. But actually going to debate and then having somebody totally wipe the floor with you is a whole other thing. Look what just happened to Biden, right? So we'll see. We'll see if Mr. Big Bad Donald Trump will debate Kamala Harris. All right, in our second quick story, former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton released statements regarding their support for Joe Biden and the 2024 election. Joe Biden has been one of the most consequential presidents and is a dear friend and partner to me. Today, we've also been reminded again that he's a patriot of the highest order. Here is my full statement. Barack Obama said, "We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leader of our party will be able to create a process. The leaders of our party will be able to create a process for which an outstanding nominee emerges. I believe that Joe Biden's vision for a generous, prosperous, and united America that provides opportunity for everyone will be on full display at the Democratic Convention in August. And I expect that every single one of us are prepared to carry out that message of hope and progress forward in November and beyond." Former President of the United States, Barack Obama. See, so that's exactly what I was talking about a little bit earlier. Barack Obama has not endorsed Kamala Harris. Very important to note. Joe Biden has endorsed her. Barack Obama has not endorsed her. Nancy Pelosi has not endorsed her. And I don't think Chuck Schumacher, I don't know if I'm getting his name right or wrong, that he hasn't endorsed her either. So that's huge. I don't think Bill Clinton has endorsed her either, but that's huge. But what I heard a couple of people say on CNN is how can I endorse her right away? I haven't heard her policies. And that's 100% true. Love her or hate her, but it's what are you doing? Are you adopting all of Joe Biden's policies? Are you going to be your own president and now change and say, hey, love Joe, love working with him, but now I am the nominee. These are my policies. That's, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think that's what she should do because that would show true leadership. Because I think that's what a lot of people are going to question her about. And let's just be honest, she's a woman. She is a black woman, a mixed black woman mixed with Indian. So there's going to be a lot of sexism that's going to come out. There's going to be a lot of racism. And I think her coming out very forcefully and strong and saying, hey, respect to Joe, respect for the 3.5 years, but boom, 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 these are my policies. And I think that's what is smart about Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi not endorsing her right away. Yeah, it would be nice to be I want to endorse her, but let it feel like she worked and she deserved it and not well, hey, Joe left, so we're just going to take, the next best thing. You know what I mean? To make it look like she deserved to be there. So Bill Clinton's statement is the same as everybody else's. I won't read the whole thing, but he said President Biden has capped an extraordinary career of service with a presidential, like I just said, it's long. It's nothing really important. He said, we are honored to join the president in look at this. Good thing I read this. Clinton has actually endorsed Kamala. I didn't know that. He said, we join the millions of Americans we are honored to join the president in endorsing Vice President Harris, and we'll do whatever we can to support her. We've lived through many ups and downs, but nothing has made us worry more for our country than the threat possessed by a second Donald Trump term. He has promised to be a dictator on day one, And the recent ruling by the Supreme Court will only embolden him to further shear the Constitution. Now, this is time to support Kamala Harris and fight with everything that we've got to elect her. America's future depends on it. Sorry, that was a little hard to read because it was really small. But wow. Okay, so yeah, Bill Clinton has endorsed Kamala Harris, but Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama hasn't. I'm on their side. Let her work for it. As much as I like her, let her work for it. Let's see what she stands for, and then we endorse her. Shout out to Barack. All right, this brings us to our third quick story. Finally, something not about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Congrats is in order to Brittney Griner and her wife for welcoming their baby boy. WNBA star Brittney Griner opens up about having a baby, having a new baby boy. She speaks with while speaking to the reporter, Brittney jokingly corrects the woman who refers to her as a mom. In response, Brittney said, "Pops." If you recall, the couple announced that they were pregnant in April. So for those of you who remember Brittney Griner, she was one who was in jail over in Russia. It took her 9 months to get back. She had dreads. They cut it off. Yeah, that girl. So we all know that Brittney Griner is a lesbian. She is in a relationship with another woman. They had a baby. I don't remember if it was I don't know if her wife carried or if it was in vitro or whatever. But anyways, the reason why it's going viral is the interview when, the reporter was like, "Hey, you're going to be a mom." She's like, "No, I'm going to be a pops." She's obviously the man in the relationship. So Brittney Griner is not a transgender. Some people are saying that, like, why does she want to be called pops? But I just think just in the relationship, she just wants to be known as the man in the relationship, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But anyways, here's the interview. Take a listen.
I think there's probably one other job that you're about to get into that is really hard and really scary. You're about to be a mom. Mm-hmm. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops.
Yo, she took a little second. She's like, "We're gonna be a mom." Yo, actually, I'm gonna be a pops. Yo, it's 2024. We ain't holding back. So anyway, shout out to Brittney Griner, man. In our fourth and final quick story, Bhad Bhabie spotted outside with her child's father amid abuse allegations. Bhad Bhabie and her child's father were recently spotted on a little outing. As previously reported, Bhabie recently took to social media with abuse allegations against him. So I have a little clip, but it's so far away you can't even really hear what she's saying. Look, we talked about this last week where she came out, she put pictures and she put videos of her face all cut up and all bruised up. For those of you who don't remember, Bhad Bhabie is the Catch Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil. Catch Me Outside, how about that? So look, she put these pictures and these videos out. Everybody came to her defense. "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're in a situation. You should leave him," or whatever. Then 2 or 3 days later, she said, "Hey, I only put that out to show him that I mean business, and if he does this again, I will leave. Thanks for the support, but this is my child's father. I'm staying with him." So I reported on both occasions when she called him out and when she said she was going to stay with him. I also reminded you guys that I did some research and found out that most women that are in an abusive relationship will stay and report it up until 7 times before leaving. This is the first time that we heard about it. It probably has happened before. So it's not uncommon for women in abusive relationships to stay with the person who's abusing them. So this shouldn't be shocking. You just gotta hope that maybe the fact that everybody knows that about him now, that he'll never do it again. And, she could have the relationship that she wants with the baby's father. It's her relationship. You gotta just support her and hope that it never happens again. And if it does, that she'll actually really leave. So I just think everybody should give the poor girl a little bit of grace. She's a young mom. You know what I mean? She's obviously didn't have the best teenage years growing up. We saw her on Dr. Phil at 12 or 13 years old. So this shouldn't be super shocking, but give Bhad Bhabie a chance. All right. All right. This brings us to question of the day. How do you maintain a healthy balance between independence and togetherness in a relationship? All right. It's going to get a little spicy. Okay, Dominique_comedy said, allow the other person to be them and have a life outside of you. That's a good That's good advice. She also said, ensure that you communicate what balance looks like for you two and move accordingly. Fair. Arthur John said, it's important to have your own identity. Don't stop seeing your friends and family, and don't give up your hobbies just because you're dating. Now, I think that's easier said than done. When you get into a relationship, it's the yin and yang, right? You're becoming one. So there's some things that you have to give up, but I agree with, I think somebody had said this already, but maybe it's not. Just as long as you're not giving up who you are, the identity of who you are, and you still stay true, but you'll have to, especially when you have kids, when you do stuff, you're going to have to give up things. So my answer, which I normally will to the end, but I'll just give it to you now. My answer is, for the best way to have independence and togetherness in a relationship is to think of yourself as one, and think of like, hey, I used to do these 10 things. These 6 or 7 things are not important. Okay, I don't have to do that. But these 3 things are important because this is who I am. Like I really like golfing. Sure, I understand. If I have a wife and I have kids, I maybe can't golf 3 or 4 times a week, but I'm still going to go at least once a week. You know what I mean? Or I'm still going to go on my boys trip golfing, same thing with her. Like, hey, I know you're doing these 10 things, but we're together now. We got kids, we got all this stuff or whatever, etc. And also what somebody else said too is you can never give up your family. Anybody that wants to give up your family, red flag. All right, let me go on to read some more. Rare Gem 50225 said, easy, do things alone with your friends and do things together. Simple, never be jealous, insecure, cringe person either. It's not healthy. Okay. Miss Kim 718 said, set boundaries, like you can't come to Target with me ever. Huh? I guess she's joking. You can't come to Target with me. I guess she's joking. I hope. Official Mary Gray said, the way you pour into each other, definitely teamwork. Compatibility is key, and you will never find that balance. Okay. I love that. Let me read that again. It's the way you pour into each other. I love that. Compatibility is key, or you will never find balance. That's exactly what I was saying. It's just a compatibility, like, hey, how are we going to do this together? I love that. Or even like take up something I'm doing. If I love golf, come golf with me. Or if you're doing blah, 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 cooking, I'll come cook with you. That's to me how I think you have a great balance of relationship. Somebody said, don't allow a chick to move in with you, and definitely don't let her live. Okay, that's not good advice. Strike that from the record. Somebody said, oh my gosh, I'll read this. I hope it's a joke, but Bobby Knight said, have a side piece for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and have a main piece for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. At least he wants to stay with his main piece on Sunday, at least. Somebody said, have separate bank accounts. I think that's up for the couple. Fat Haitian said, don't breathe down the person's back. Find your own hobbies. Keep away from the person that you and miss them sometimes. That's a good idea. I think missing somebody is good. Somebody said, both people have to be like-minded. Woo! Let me salute that. Burr, 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 burr. You definitely got to be with somebody who's like-minded, or you're going to have a lot of issues. I feel like a lot of people get together with people for looks or for money or for whatever. But if you're not like-minded, like nobody is ever really right or wrong. You have your own opinions and you have your own values. Like I have my own values. I think I am right in my head, but if somebody is like-minded with me, they're more going to understand where I'm coming from. You don't have to be exact, but like-minded for sure is key. All right, I'll read one more because we're running low on time. Somebody said, respect a person's identity. Love that idea. Okay. All right, let's jump over to sports news quickly. All right, this brings us to sports news. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark played together during the WNBA All-Star Game. So this happened over the weekend. I was busy with my celebrations. I totally missed this, but then I saw somewhere like in halftime and I looked and I don't know if it was televised in Canada. So somebody knows, please tell me. But it was nice to see Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese playing together. I think Caitlin gave an assist to Angel. She got a point. They both broke records. Caitlin got, I think it was the most assists by a rookie in an all-star game. And Angel Reese is the first this first rookie to have a double-double in a game. Something along those lines. They both broke records. More importantly, they're on the same team. They played well, and they won. Here it goes. It's going down during the NBA, the WNBA All-Star Game. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark played together on the team WNBA, and they beat sorry, I'm rushing, and others to defeat Team USA. So this is what I wanted to get to. They won 117 to 109. I don't understand the breakdown. What was Team USA versus Team WNBA? I don't know. Is it Team USA that's playing in Paris, or I don't know, or if it's maybe like the older, I don't know. Please, somebody also too let me know about that. Okay, I was very caught up in getting prepared with Donald Trump and Biden and all of that stuff. So, I didn't know too much about what's going on in sports news today. All right, at least I'm keeping it real with y'all. All right, let me wrap this up because I'm way over my time. Let me remind you guys how to keep up with the Trent Out Loud podcast. For those of you who are watching on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify, please try to check me out on CFQR600.com or 600 AM in the Montreal area. From 11 to 12, we do play the Trent Out Loud podcast. We mix it in with 90s and 2000s hip-hop and R&B. It's a great way to listen to your entertainment news and have a little bit of break during the day from 11 to 12. So check me out. Vice versa, if you're used to listening to the show from 11 to 12 on CFQR600.com or 600 AM in the Montreal area, and you cannot always catch the show between 11 to 12, don't worry. We upload all the shows on YouTube and podcast platforms. Just go to your desired site, type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload new episodes, and we upload daily, all right? So don't ever miss a show. And lastly, for those of you who like watching your podcast on with video, yes, we of course are on YouTube, but you can also now watch the video of the Trent Out Loud podcast on Spotify. And if you ask me, it's a better way to see the video, because if you're on the phone and you're doing stuff, it doesn't close like how the YouTube app closes. And lastly, don't forget to check me out on any social media platform at Trent Out Loud and Exclucity Media on Instagram to see full videos of stuff that we play, because we only could play clips. You can catch the full videos of anything that we're playing on Exclucity Media. That's it. Thanks for hanging with me. This is my Biden, Harris, Trump wrap up. I hope I did a good job. I'll catch y'all tomorrow on Tuesday morning episode. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace.